Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Modern Horizons 2 draft video. Now, somebody pointed out to me that I missed the incredibly obvious play with Rise and Shine, and that is draft every single artifact land that you possibly can, because then you have a bunch of indestructible artifact beaters. And yeah, that sounds great, so I'm going to take Rise and Shine. And I think that's going to be the plan for today's draft. Let's see if we can't go into the artifact deck. This is an incredibly narrow space to try and play with the dog in. I kind of have like a third of a doorway open to try and arc this out into the living room, and I can't get it to go very far. I'm also very, very tired now. I've been thrown completely out of whack. I ended up taking a week off of work because I desperately needed a vacation. And it has made it impossible to maintain my diet, lifting. My caffeine consumption is all over the place. Like, I am just not having a good time right now. I think we are going to splash green. If we are going to be taking a bunch of the artifact lands, and we're definitely playing blue, the odds that we get at least one land that will tap for green is pretty high. So we'll take Lannis. It's a pretty cheap payoff for Rise and Shine to become pretty fantastic, so. Alright. In this pack, we have Sweep the Skies, Goblin Bombardment, an Artifact Land, a Sojourner's Companion, and an Arcbound Mouser. So white-red, I think, is the modular. White-blue, I believe, is Affinity. Bombardment's a sack outlet for any modular stuff we get, but if I take it, I'm gonna send a bunch of signals that the Affinity and Artifact decks are open in this pack. But taking anything else here probably means that Goblin Bombardment isn't gonna come around. Let's take Goblin Bombardment. You know, first three picks, all three are rares. I think Goblin Bombardment being able to do 1 damage to any target makes it fantastic. Okay, in this pack, I think I'm going to take the Arcbound Tracker here. There's no land in this pack. Enchantress's presence is very strong, but of course you need a lot of enchantments, and I'm not sure that there's a limited archetype that would actually play it, even though we used it to great effect in the Enchantress deck we played. So take Arcbound Tracker. Karth the Lion, I don't think is for us. Smell Fear is nice, but I don't think that green is going to be one of our primary colors. Break Ties is fantastic, but I don't know how much white we're going to have, even though we're probably centered on red, white, and blue. I think I take the Artifact land from this pack. So let's do that. The fight spell's probably not going to come around, but I can't not take these. Alright, there's another Smell Fear. Alternatively, a white-blue land or a Filigree Attendant. I'll take the Smell Fear because we're probably going to have a lot of 1/1 countery stuff. But Filigree Attendant is an artifact payoff by itself. I'll take the Attendant, I think. I think we're going to try and keep green to a splash, and maybe that's wrong because the fight spells are potentially really strong, but we'll find out. Alright, in this pack, wants me to take Chatterstorm. I'll take the Slagwoods Bridge. Bottle Golems isn't that great. Marble Gargoyle could work. Terramorph, I don't think we're ramping at all. Yeah, let's just take the Slagwoods Bridge. Zurin Orb does work with Affinity. Scrappling is 1/1 counters we can play on any color of mana, and Lens Flare is removal. Let's take the Scrappling, I think. Okay, we definitely take Chrome Courier from this pack. So we are at minimum 4 colors. This will be fun. I apologize for the desk creaking. It is very small, and there are very few comfortable ways for me to sit at it. Once again, for those of you that don't know, I'm actually not at my usual video recording setup. I am visiting family far out of town from where I normally am. Unbounded Potential is a pretty good trick, especially when you're playing the red and white artifact threats. Arcbound Mouser came all the way around. I'm pretty excited about that. It's one of my favorite cards in the set, because lifelink is very, very strong in this format. Landscaper, Kolos, Theoshino, Lashclaw, or Chatterstorm. I guess I take the Kolos, because I wouldn't be playing the Tideshaper, I don't think. Break Ties... I think Break Ties is better than Parcel Mirror, and we are not hurting for a number of creatures right now. We'll take Fairgrounds Patrol over Guardian Kieran, and we'll take the Bottle Golems as the force. Next pack we have Chef's Kiss. I don't want to play a lot of double color spells other than maybe blue. Prophetic Titan's great top end. Arcbound Prototype is nice. Razortide Bridge I would not mind at all. And Foundry Helix is great as a 1 or 2 of in any deck like this. I'm going to take the Prototype. Ethereum Spinner. I could have had 3 Smell Fears. Ethereum Spinner would be kind of nice, but we're not going to have a lot of cards that are mana value 4 or greater, I've got a feeling. So I think we take Batterbone. Imperial Recruiter. Imperial Recruiter is, I don't think, worth anything. Hang on. It's worth a couple of tickets, actually. We could use it to get, like, Chrome Courier or any of our modular cards. Actually, that's kind of worth it if we're playing Goblin Bombardment. What am I missing by taking this card? A Razortide Bridge? A Whale? You know what? Let's play the Imperial Recruiter. Let's just go 4-color all rares. Squirrel Mob, let's see. Arcbound Slasher or Arcbound Tracker? Slasher is a pretty good top end. I think Tracker is on average stronger, but I already have a Tracker. We'll take the Slasher. We're going to need to start taking more artifact lands if we see them, especially blue ones. Calibrated Blast I don't think is going to be very good in this deck. Tanglepool Bridge is tempting. Blacksmith Skill. We are a white deck, and it is a good combat trick. Vectis Gloves is really strong. We've run into Vectis Gloves before, and it like completely owns anyone who's playing a single artifact land, and in the mirror match just wins. I think I actually will take Vectis Gloves over a Tanglepool Bridge, because I already have 2 green lands. Okay. I like Mishra's Factory. We're not going to be playing black, almost certainly, so I don't think we need the Dark Moss Bridge. Slagwood's Bridge is okay, because it's red and green, and red is one of our primary colors. I think taking the Factory or Chrome Courier is better. We don't have any assembly workers to my knowledge. I think I'm going to take the Chrome Courier because it represents card advantage and life gain, as well as a flyer we can modular onto. Parcel Mirror, I guess, is the card for us in this pack. Another Arcbound Slasher. I think I gotta take the Razortide Bridge. We really are getting to the point we need fixing. If this was a Tracker, I might take the Tracker over the bridge, but we gotta take... The double on-color bridges at this point, I think, are going to be pretty high priority. We have enough playables and almost playables. Foundry Helix is definitely the card for us here. Flame Rift, if we want to start... We could transition into just red, white, and blue, and if we do, Flame Rift is the card for us. Because the only reason we're splashing green at all is for Lannis. Yeah, we're probably going to end up as an aggro deck. I'll take Flame Rift. Diamond Lion is an artifact bear. The alternative is a Steelfin Whale, which is not an artifact. It does have Affinity. I think we take the Whale. The Whale's not bad. I'll take a double off-color bridge at this point for Affinity purposes. I think I take Fodder Tosser, but I'm not gonna... Probably not gonna end up playing it. Jewel-Eyed Cobra for the sideboard, and a Healer's Flock. Time for the last pack. Alright, in this pack we have Timeless Dragon, which is a 5-mana 5/5 flyer with Plane Cycling and Eternalize. Not a lot else for us in this pack, so I think we do take the Timeless Dragon here. Arcbound Javelineer, I'm not going to be upset about. I wouldn't mind getting a Sojourner's Companion, but I think the Javelineer is better. Yeah, I think we're going to end up cutting a lot of excess from this deck. Yavimaya does not fix for us in any way. I guess it does for Lannis, but that's just because it would be a forest itself. I think we take Arcbound Javelineer. Yeah, I don't see a reason not to at this point. Alright, we've got a Monoskellion, another Foundry Helix, an off-color Bridge. I think we take the Helix, actually. We're going to have enough creatures. I'm more concerned about removal and reach. Progenitor Ooze. Oh, crap. Okay, let's cut the stuff that I'm probably not going to play. With the option of an Arcbound Tracker or 2 different on-color bridges. Strike It Rich does fix. I think I'm going to take the Tracker. There's Vindicate. There's an off-color bridge, and a Gargadon, and a Steelfin Whale. I think I'll take the bridge. I can splash any green card I want to splash, so if I want to take the fight spells, I definitely can, because I'm going to have at least 3 lands to tap for green. Bloodbraid Marauder or Slag Strider. 1 mana, sack an artifact, deal 1 damage to any target. Actually seems pretty sweet. We don't have a bunch of card types, so Bloodbraid Marauder is not as good. It's not likely that we will be able to cascade with it, but it is aggressive and requires less setup than Slag Strider. I think I'm going to take the Strider because the utility in shooting down stuff with its ability seems pretty great. I think I'm going to take Step Through. I don't know if I'm playing it, though. Don't think I'm really playing anything here, so I'll put a Fodder Tosser in the sideboard. I'll take a Marble Gargoyle as it's tangential to the strategy. Take another tapped artifact land. Another Marble Gargoyle. We get 1 uncolor bridge. So we'll take it. Heck, at this point I might just be splashing blue for Chrome Courier and Rise and Shine, but I'll take the Whale. Yep, Fairground Patrol is a fine force. Okay. Let's take a look at what we're actually dealing with here. And we should probably trim down on blue, which means likely no Filigree Attendant. Rise and Shine I'm going to keep because the potential payoff is enormous. And even if I just play it as turn an artifact land into a 4/4 indestructible, I think that's fine. I don't necessarily need to overload it. Flame Rift might be a bit ambitious, although it does actually give us quite a bit of reach. I think Vectis Gloves are sideboardable. They're fantastic if we go up against somebody who's playing any artifact lands, but otherwise they're like kind of medium. I think Marble Gargoyle is one of our worst creatures. And not that like it's bad necessarily, it's just worse than a lot of other things. We don't need Steelfin Whale. So if I do something like this, that's probably good enough. So we'll add the on-color bridges, then add basic lands. I don't know if it's worth... You know what? I think it is worth playing Lannis. Probably over the other Marble Gargoyle. I'm not going to play any planes because we don't have any basic land cycling. We have plane cycling, but I'm not going to probably plane cycle Timeless Dragon unless I'm desperate. We can replace 2 planes with Thornglint Bridge, 2 mountains with Slagwood Bridge, and I don't think I'm going to play Dark Moss Bridge. Alright, I think we get ourselves a deck. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, game 1 we're going to have Break Ties, but we need to draw red and blue. I think I'm going to keep it because if we draw any number of lands, we can get to a Timeless Dragon, which is going to be quite strong. Break Ties is going to be useful in basically any matchup. Fairgrounds Patrol is great because it's something we can play. Opponent plays a Swamp. I will be bringing in the Vectis Gloves post-board. Opponent cycles Sojourner's Companion. They get a Slagwood's Bridge. Probably they're playing it this turn. We untap, draw Foundry Helix, play a Plains, go to combat, attack for 2. So because we're not drawing lands, I may Plains Cycle just so that I can eternalize the Timeless Dragon next turn. The only way I'm not doing that is if my opponent plays a scary artifact we want to break ties. Okay, that is not a scary artifact. So stop on my opponent's end step, Plains Cycle, we untap, draw a Rustvale Bridge, which we can play next turn. Let's go ahead and eternalize. Pass the turn. It's a pretty sick token. Opponent plays a mountain. Okay, opponent attacks for 4. We take 4, go to 16. Opponent plays a Loathsome Curator, which they can use to kill the dragon. That is unfortunate. We untap and draw Arcbound Slasher. Play Rustvale Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Dihada's Ploy. Discarding Verdant Catacombs. They play a Swamp. They go to combat. They attack for 5. We take 5 and go to 11. Dihada's Ploy jump started by discarding a forest. They discard a Bone Shards. Alright, we're going to reinforce Fairgrounds Patrol. Untap. We draw Fairgrounds Patrol. Play Slasher, give it haste. Go to combat. Attack for 7. We're going to need to draw a blue source, I think. Next turn we can play Fairgrounds Patrol, block with it, and Foundry Helix, potentially. Okay, so opponent spends a bunch of life to kill our stuff. Play an island. Play Fairgrounds Patrol. Oh, we only get the life if we sack an artifact. Well, I don't want to sack my artifact land, but I definitely played the wrong card then. So let's play Chrome Courier. Take a mountain. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they draw. Terramorph. So they get 2 Rampant Growth, a mountain. They Kaleidoscorch, so we can't block. They hit us for 5. Go to 1. We draw Goblin Bombardment. Play a mountain. Play Chrome Courier. Get a Arcbound Javelineer. Gain life. Play the Javelineer. Foundry Helix. Sack the Javelineer. Modular here. Go up to 8. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Opponent goes to 13. Terramorph rebounds. They play a land. We untap. Draw a Thornglint Bridge. Play it. Play Goblin Bombardment. Get a token from Fairground Patrol. Get a token from Fairground Patrol. Go to combat. They're gonna Mind Collapse. So shoot them for 1. Then hit them for 1. They untap. They're gonna Terminal Agony. Goblin Bombardment. Untap, we draw. Arcbound Javelineer. Play the Javelineer. Ping our opponent. Modular onto a Thopter. Go to combat. Hit them for 3. They go to 6. We can ping them for 2 more. Then Flame Rift them. Nice. That worked quite well, despite misplaying a little bit. Kind of derping around. Having this much, like 12 points of burn in the deck, really gives us a ton of reach. We are going to have to watch for that exploit whenever we're playing Timeless Dragon, so... I'm really surprised we kept a hand with basically only planes and were able to draw the correct mana to win. Alright, I will keep this. It's a little slow, but any land gets us to a lot of cards. A blue land like that makes this hand way better. So lead on Rustvale Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Slagwoods Bridge. We untap. Draw planes. They may have a way to unsummon, but I think doing this is correct. Pass the turn. We now have an indestructible 4/4 that we can always modular onto. Okay, opponent casts Road. We untap and draw Fairgrounds Patrol, so play a planes. Play Fairgrounds Patrol, go to combat, hit them for 4. Opponent untaps. They play a Verdant Catacombs, fetch a Swamp. World Weary, well, they killed our red mana. That's pretty bad. Play Thornglint Bridge, go to combat, attack for 2, take them to 13. They untap. Opponent plays Karth the Lion, has nothing to show for it though. We untap, we draw Slagwoods Bridge, that's good. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent goes to combat. Attacks for 3. We're going to go ahead and say no blocks. And they play a Storm God's Oracle. We untap. Draw Mere Scrappling. Play Imperial Recruiter. Let's get a... If I play Lannis, opponent will kill it immediately. So I think what we do here is we're going to get the Mouser. Play the Scrappling this turn. Then pass. Next turn we can play Tracker and Mouser, or Slasher, depending. But I think playing multiple creatures is a better idea. Multiple modular creatures is a better idea. Opponent plays Chainer, Nightmare Adept. Then plays a land. They go to combat and they attack for 3. I'm going to go ahead and say no blocks. We untap. We draw Lannis. Okay, play Tracker. Play Mouser. Counter on Tracker. No attacks, pass the turn. I kind of expected my opponent to Storm God's Oracle and kill the Tracker in response to that, because now if they try and kill it, we can Mere Scrappling to put an additional counter on it, or if we're untapped, we can Unbounded Potential. They are going to Kaleidoscorch Fairgrounds Patrol. That's fine. They go to combat and pass. We untap. Draw Razor Tide Bridge. Play the bridge. So I can play some combination of get a token, Unbounded Potential, or Lannis this turn. And I think I'm going to avoid casting Unbounded Potential this turn because next turn we can play Slasher, and the turn after, if we draw an untapped land, this becomes huge. So I think all we do... This is only non-token creatures, right? Yeah, okay. Play Lannis. Then let's get our flying token. And we'll pass. So I think our opponent is going to kill Lannis here. And they may use Chainer to try and form a loop with Storm God's Oracle replaying it every turn. Alright, scrappling that up to a 4. Okay. I don't know if that is any worse for us or not. I haven't seen any white mana from them, so I don't think there's a Smite the Monstrous effect in any other colors. Opponent discards Mistvault Bridge. Should have brought in the Vectis Gloves, I completely forgot. Okay, Storm God's Oracle gains haste. Opponent goes to combat. And then passes. We untap. We draw Chrome Courier. Play Arcbound Slasher. And... Are we attacking this turn? I don't think so. Let's just give it a 1/1 counter. We get to investigate. Then pass. We have enough enough modular creatures, we can really move these counters around. And if we get Goblin Bombardment, this game is over. A second Storm God's Oracle. Okay. I would like an untapped land. There it is. Play a mountain. Go to combat. Attack, attack. And they have no flying blockers, so we'll attack here as well. So opponent blocks and blocks, and then blocks. So this Storm God's Oracle is going to die this turn. That's fine. So what creatures are we countering up here? I think it's the Mouser and Lannis, actually. They can pump this Oracle, but they still lose Karth. Oh, active player, not active player. So the only thing I can actually modular onto is this, because of the way that targets are declared. If I put a counter on Mouser or put a counter on the Thopter, they just kill it. Like, they kill it because they get to target after we target. So we have to put it on something that can survive the Lightning Bolt. Okay, opponent kills the Mouser. So now we'll counter up the Thopter. And we have a whole heck of a lot of damage going our opponent's way next turn. Terramorph, coming off Rebound. They play a mountain. They draw a card. Alright, opponent casts Ruin. Doing 9 damage. Then kills the Slasher with Storm God's Oracle. Mind collapsing to kill the other artifact creature. Not bad. They can even discard the last card in their hand to get back a Storm God's Oracle if they want this turn, though I guess there's no reason for them to do that immediately. I'm really surprised my opponent was able to actually answer that board state. They put a Flame Tongue Yearling in the grave. We untap. Draw Arcbound Prototype. Play Chrome Courier. Investigate. We investigate. Getting a clue. Chrome Courier gives us a Foundry Helix. Then we can Foundry Helix to kill Chainer. And I can sack the green land. Stops my opponent from doing any more looping shenanigans. We don't attack here. We pass. Opponent untaps. If we attack with Lannis, our opponent would just block, deal a damage from the Storm God's Oracle, and then deal the Lightning Bolt to Lannis. Well, they Mind Collapsed him anyway, but at least that cost them a land, too. They attack us for 1, we take 1. They pump it all the way to 3, so we end up taking 3. Go to 15, we untap. We draw the Javelineer, so... Sack a clue, draw a card, it's a Plains. Play the Plains, play the Javelineer, play the Prototype, go to combat, attack for 3. Hit our opponent to 9. They are sitting, or hit our opponent to 10, because we attacked for 2 and not 3. This Flame Rift has our opponent at a virtual 6. They play a Hellmongrel. We untap, draw Plains, crack the clue, we draw a Mountain, play Mountain, go to combat, attack for 1 in the air. Opponent goes to 9, they pass. Opponent untaps, they draw a card. Opponent is outright dead to Foundry Helix number 2. They play Sojourner's Companion. They attack for 4. Block here. I'm going to modular onto the Chrome Courier, though this will likely cause my opponent to kill it in response. Or not. We untap. We draw. Break ties. Go to combat. Attack for 2 in the air. I could break ties my own Arcbound prototype if they tried to snipe it with Storm God's Oracle. Opponent is sitting at a virtual 3. They untap, they draw a card. They go to combat. They swing all out. So I think we chump. The thing that's going to get us is another piece of removal other than that Storm God's Oracle. So they pump, they pump. They hit us for 7, we go to 8. They play a tap land and pass. We untap, draw Slagwood's Bridge, play it, go to combat. I mean, we only have to connect and reinforce with the reinforce. So opponent, oh great. They're gonna Madness to kill the Courier. Okay. They have no cards left. Get them for 2, they go to 5. If I kill the 4/4, we're taking 7, 8 if they discard the card in their hand. Yeah, we're actually just dead, aren't we? Alright, pass the turn. Have to hope my opponent just like right-clicked, attacked, F6'd. We take 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, I'm going to restart the client because I'm running low on time. Only change I'm going to make is I'm going to bring in the Vectis gloves because I forgot. I'm going to drop... I don't know what I dropped for that, actually. It might be Recruiter. I could just run 41 cards. I'm going to run 41 cards because I'm bad at this game. I'd like to play first. Alright, I'm going to keep this. I'm running low on time, so I'm going to try... I might not talk quite as much this game. We are going to lead on the Javelineer, pass the turn. If I animate a land, it's probably going to be Thornglint Bridge. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs, cracks it, gets a forest, we untap. We draw Vectis Gloves. So, play Razortide Bridge, play Mere Scrappling, go to combat, hit him for 1. Opponent goes to 18. Alright, we untap, we draw planes, play Thornglint Bridge, play Vectis Gloves, go to combat, attack for 2. Opponent goes to 16, they untap. We untap, draw Slag Strider, so play Slagwood's Bridge, Rise and Shine, Thornglint Bridge, go to combat, attack for 6, opponent recalibrates, takes 2. Alright, pass the turn. They play a Hellmongrel, we untap, draw a mountain, play a mountain, play Slag Strider, equip Scrappling, go to combat, hit them for 3. They go to 11. They untap, they draw, play a Swamp. They're going to World Weary the Slag Strider. Okay. Maybe I should have waited to play that. Then they pass. They're attacking us for 4. Take 4. We go to 16, untap. We draw Break Ties. Play Thornglint Bridge. I can do 5 damage this turn, but it's basically the same as 4. It doesn't change the clock. So I think I would rather have the utility of Break Ties. We hit them for 4, they go to 7, and we pass. Opponent draws. They play a land. They play Storm God's Oracle. They attack us for 4. We take 4. I suspect my opponent is keeping that back to block. If they do nothing else, we're going to kill the Storm God's Oracle now, because that lets us force them to use the trigger for it dying on one of our creatures, and then we can still suit up and attack, and it forces them to have another removal spell next turn. So, on the end step, kill the Storm God's Oracle. If they kill the Javelineer, we modular onto the Mere Scrappling. If they target the Scrappling, we put a counter on the Javelineer. They have a Mind Collapse, which is the worst of both worlds. But they don't have any more red mana, so that means no more Terminal Madness, I think. But we really gotta draw something else in order to win, because I played that Slag Strider too early. Great. Opponent hits us for 4, we go to 8. I think I need a Foundry Helix to stay alive. Well, Plains isn't it. That sucks. I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, we have basically all of our colors of mana, but only a Mouser and a Break Ties. I think I am going to keep this. Okay. Yeah, lead on Plains, play the Mouser, pass the turn. Opponent let on Slagwood's Bridge. Into an Arcus Acolyte. We draw Chrome Courier. Play the Thornglint Bridge, and I'm not willing to trade, so we'll just pass. Next turn I can Foundry Helix the Acolyte if they just outlast it. Okay, they outlast. Well, that's annoying, but we will at least get to kill the Arcus Acolyte with Foundry Helix. Draw Mere Scrappling, play a Mountain. Sack the artifact land, pass the turn. Alright, play Plains, play Fairground Patrol. And the Scrappling. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Forest. They play a Constable of the Realm. We untap. Draw Plains. Play Plains. Pass the turn. So we are probably going to have to trade with the Constable, which I am not thrilled about. So block, sack the Scrappling to hopefully trade. They can reinforce and just exile the Fairgrounds Patrol, which is a huge problem. Okay. So we need blue mana, and then we need to draw stuff off Chrome Courier, like actual good cards. Untap and draw Goblin Bombardment. Play Mountain, play Goblin Bombardment. If they can keep putting counters on that Constable, they can keep exiling permanents. Renown only... Oh! Well then. I forgot that Renowned is a separate marker from 1/1 counters, so actually I just blew myself out there. It is very unlikely we come back from this because I don't think we have any removal that will deal with that. Opponent plays a Sanctum Weaver, which we can kill, and a Fey Offering, which is higher priority. So they hit us for 7. I don't even think we have any unsummon removal. Draw Lannis. Play Chrome Courier. I guess we'll take an Imperial Recruiter. Play Imperial Recruiter. Get... Yeah, I have no way to kill that creature. So I'm actually just going to scoop. We're going to go to the next game. So versus this opponent, I do want Step Through, which means I am going to need to play another island. I think my opponent is playing stuff that Vectis Gloves will be good against. I need to drop a couple of cards, at least one. It's probably Flame Rift. Alright, we'll play first. Well, if we draw green mana, we can play Lannis, and that'll give us a ton of extra value. Until then, we can work towards an Arcbound Tracker or an Imperial Recruiter. Opponent leads on Forest, plays Glimmerbairn. Alright, play Thornglint Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains into an Arcus Acolyte, attacking us for 1. We untap and draw Mountain. Play an island, play Lannis, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest. Prismatic Ending to kill Lannis, unfortunate. An opponent outlasts Glimmerbairn, attacks us for 2 with lifelink. We take 2, go to 17. Untap, we draw Plains, play a Mountain, play Imperial Recruiter. Let's go and get a Mouser, then we wait. Opponent untaps, they draw. They go to combat, they attack and attack. So chump here, and I'm going to try and reinforce. They reinforce. That probably means we're done. We just have no removal that can take out creatures with high toughness. I mean, I guess if I draw Foundry Helix, then sure, but... Play Tracker. Play Mouser. Counter on Tracker. I think they just have too much lifelink. Alright, yeah. We're done here. It's too much value. And I'll see you guys in round 3. Alrighty, welcome back to round 3, everybody. I apologize for any loud noises. My father is working in the garage with some heavy machinery. Particularly an impact gun, making some repairs to the trailer. So, but this is what I have to record. I'll be streaming later today, which will be yesterday when this video goes up. But, well, it's been a good day today. Got out of the house, actually ran some errands for once. I think I was starting to go crazy because I had like only been to my brother's house and my house for like a week. It's like every day the same pattern. Okay, so we can either lead on Javelineer or we can play Batterbone. And I think Javelineer is stronger if we play Tracker on 3, but that implies we draw a mountain. Alright, still gonna do it. Pass the turn. Opponent's turn. They play a Plains. We untap and draw Slag Strider. So go to combat, attack our opponent for 1. They take 1 and go to 19. They cycle Landscaper Kolos, so let's see what basic land they get. We can identify what strategy they're in. It might be Reanimator. I think that's the one that best makes use of the Kolos. But Forest, so like green-white go wide, I guess? Alright, never mind. They are some kind of 3-color deck. They play Scuttletide. When we untap, we draw a Goblin Bombardment. No reason to attack. Let's go ahead and make a Batterbone. Then pass the turn. If we don't draw a land, I may actually need to Plane Cycle Timeless Dragon just to make sure that I keep hitting land drops. Missing a turn is relatively okay, but missing multiple turns in a row is probably very bad. Opponent is ditching Scion of Draco, so they are Domain. They're going to be playing all 5 colors. Play a Forest, which we knew about. Opponent plays a Soul of Migration, evoked, to get some bird tokens. We untap, we draw planes, so go to combat, attack, attack, see if our opponent's willing to trade off any of the tokens. We'll probably be casting Unbounded Potential regardless, because it's our only play this turn, really. Opponent blocks with a crab, blocks with a bird. So counter up both creatures, kill the bird, gain a little life, play a plains, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Terramorphs, okay. They get a swamp. They're definitely playing all 5 colors. There'd be no reason not to if you have Scion of Draco and enough support. Opponent persists the Soul of Migration, then attacks us for 1. We untap and draw Flame Rift. So Plane Cycle, get a Plains, play a Plains, and pass the turn. Terramorph rebounds, getting our opponent presumably a mountain. Alright, they go to combat. They're going to attack with the birds and the soul. So I think we're going to kill a bird with the Javelineer. Then take 3, going to 18. We untap, draw an Arcbound Prototype. So we can either Eternalize the dragon, or we can play the Prototype. And I think we're going to have to Eternalize the dragon, but we'll start by attacking with the Germ token. They do have 3 card types, so if they make a token here by discarding a card type they don't currently have, they can double block to kill the Germ. I'm actually okay with this, because it means they likely do not have removal for the dragon. And then if we draw an untapped land, we can suit up the dragon with Batterbone, and that'd be sick. Okay, they make 2 crabs. So then they can double block if they want to. And they do. They triple block, okay? So the germ dies. Make a 4/4. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play they play a Landscaper Kolos and they put Unbounded Potential back in our deck. Then they pass. We untap, we draw Rise and Shine. So play the prototype. Animate Razortide Bridge. Pass the turn. I guess I could have attacked with the dragon there, but Karmic Guide can get them back Scion of Draco, and that's a huge problem. Actually, why did they... Oh, because it's legendary, isn't it? It is not legendary. Why didn't they persist the Scion of Draco? That's kind of surprising. Opponent goes to combat, attacks for 4. Block like this. Counters on the land. Okay. We untap. Draw Lannis. I would really appreciate it if I could draw cards that mattered. Okay, opponent may or may not pay the echo cost for Karmic Guide. Looks like they are. Oh, they may have persisted the soul to keep Delirium up on Scuttletide. That might have actually made more sense earlier on. So they attack with the creatures that have flying. We can only block and trade with Draco. I think that's actually worth it. Or Scion of Draco. It's not Draco. We untap. We draw a Foundry Helix. Pass the turn. Turn 9. I mean, we ever draw another land and can suit up this Razortide Bridge with Batterbone, we're probably fine. An indestructible 7/7 lifelinker is going to be hard for a lot of boards to beat. I think I will actually shoot down another token here. I'm okay with Arcbound Javelineer being a 0/1. 5 versus 4 does change the clock, at least at the current rate. I would really like to draw a mountain. Like a lot. Opponent plays an Orchard Strider, we untap. We draw a tap land. Play the tap land. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps and draws. They go to combat and attack in the air. No blocks. We go to 10. Opponent plays a Glimmerbairn. Come on, untap land. Fairgrounds Patrol is not what I asked for, but we'll still play it. I think if I pay the 5 mana now and equip the Razortide Bridge with Batterbone, I probably just die when my opponent attacks. I think playing an extra creature here was better. Opponent's going to investigate with Floodhound. They can sack the clue immediately to draw a card. Opponent plays a Combine Chrysalis, which is a big deal. It's basically going to come down to whether or not we draw an untapped land next turn. This could be... If there is an exile blocking creature... Oh, these have flying. Because of Combine Chrysalis. Okay, never mind. Never mind, we can't do anything. Go into 3. Oh, you know what? Okay, actually... We will lose probably in short order, even if I do draw an untapped land here. So, I'm going to concede before my opponent sees red mana. But, even if I suited this up with Batterbone and attacked, I would go up to 10. And next turn, they would just leave back tokens to block, as they kept attacking in the air. So, the life gain and lifelink wouldn't actually matter. But, it was turn 12 until we saw red mana, so... I don't think that is really overcomeable. Maybe I should be playing Healer's Flock. I am basically a white deck. Let's run it back. I don't know how I feel about 3 Healer's Hawks and a Trench Coat. Opponent is really thinking about how they want to sideboard. Alright, we would like to play first. This hand is not keepable. This hand might be, because we have plane cycling. I'm going to keep this. And I think I put back Flame Rift. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a forest. And a Glimmerbairn. We untap, draw a mountain. Play a mountain, pass the turn. We will be plane cycling here so we can play a Chrome Courier next turn. Opponent plays an island. Opponent goes to combat. They hit us for 1. We go to 19. And they play a Raving Visionary. So let's plane cycle. They get a 1/1. We untap. Get an island. Play planes. Chrome Courier. We can either take the planes and Eternalize next turn, or we can take the Batterbone. I think the Batterbone is going to be better long-term value. So pass. We're not going to chump. Take 1. We untap. Draw planes anyway. I think what we're going to do is get rid of the Combine Chrysalis right now before they have a chance to do anything real nasty with it. It's a very powerful effect in Limited. Go to combat. Attack for 1 because we are not blocking with this creature. Okay, so opponent's turn. They play a planes. Terramorph. They get a swamp. Attack us for 2. We untap. Draw a mountain. Play a mountain, and we're definitely going to Eternalize this turn. We cannot quite play Batterbone and equip it this turn. Or this next turn, I mean. Get in for 1. But I can play Batterbone and Goblin Bombardment in the same turn next turn. Opponent untaps. Okay, opponent plays a Landscaper Kolos, putting Break Ties back into the deck. And then no attacks. We untap, we draw Arcbound Tracker, play a mountain, play Goblin Bombardment, then play Arcbound Tracker, go to combat. Attack our opponent for 5. Opponent takes 5, goes to 13. They're going to loot with Raving Visionary. They discard Mistvault Bridge, and they draw. They play a Thraben Watcher. Opponent goes to combat, attacks with the Kolos and the Glimmerbairn. We'll take the 7. I think my opponent is leaving back the Raving Visionary because they intend to draw a card with the 3-mana ability. I guess they can't because they don't have Delirium, but we untap. We draw an Arcbound Javelineer. Play Batterbone. Living Weapon. So that much we're definitely doing this turn. The question is, what are we shooting with Bombardment, and how are we doing it exactly? I can use the Germ token and Tracker to kill Thraben Watcher, putting the counters from Tracker on Chrome Courier and having an actual blocker. Then I can suit up Timeless Dragon with Batterbone. Or I can play Arcbound Javelineer now, get a trigger on Arcbound Tracker to get an additional counter, and sack Tracker and Javelineer to kill Thraben Watcher, and stack the counters on Chrome Courier, leaving back the Batterbone Germ token to block. I think we're going to go ahead and just do this. We might be missing out on quite a bit of value, though, by taking this line. I really hope my opponent does not have a good removal spell. Suit up the dragon. Opponent... Oh, okay, so they're going to draw a card off of Raving Visionary, go to combat, and I will attack with both creatures here, because that means we have a 2-turn clock rather than a 3-turn clock. Hit our opponent for 8, down to 5, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Okay, they draw another card. They have to have an answer to the dragon or a blocker for it, otherwise they are toast. Alright, they scoop. Unable to beat the dragon. And run it back. Well, we are missing red again, and with this hand I think that's actually unacceptable. I'm going to mulligan. This is better. I would like to draw blue. We're going to put back Lannis because we don't have either color of mana required to play him or her. I don't actually know if that's male or female or other. Opponent starts tap land. We play a mountain. We get at least Arcbound Prototype into Tracker, which is good. So play a Plains, play Arcbound Prototype, pass the turn. Okay, opponent basic land cycles, Landscaper Kolos, getting an island, playing the island. Then they pass, we draw Thornglint Bridge, play a mountain, play the Arcbound Tracker, go to combat, attack for 2, no blocks by the opponent. They untap. They cycle another Landscaper Kolos. They play a Shattered Ego to shrink our Arcbound Tracker, which we have an out in casting Foundry Helix to make a big Arcbound Prototype. Draw Slagwood's Bridge. Let's play Thornglint Bridge. I don't know if I want to Foundry Helix this turn. Why not? Sack the Tracker, modular onto the Prototype. Kill Baron. Go to combat, and then... am I even playing islands? I know I'm not playing forests. I think I have an island in the deck. If I do, I'd really like to top deck an island to make sure that I have another creature that I could modular onto if necessary. Opponent plays a Thraben Watcher. We untap and draw Rustvale Bridge, so play that. Go to combat. Attack for 4. No blocks by the opponent. We take 4 and go to 10. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. That sucks. There's nothing we can do about it, so we lose our prototype without having anything to modular onto. And they play a Combine Chrysalis. Okay, still hoping for that island. We draw not the island. Play Slagwood's Bridge, pass the turn. Opponent suspends Soul Talisman. Gets in for 2. Take 2 and go to 20. We untap. Continuously draw lands. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Soul Talisman taking down. We play a land, go to combat, and attack us for 2. We're going to go to 18 at least. Yep, down to 18. Opponent is playing something big. Orchard Strider. Not what I want to see. Draw an Arcbound Javelineer. So play him. Play a land. Pass the turn. Okay. Soul Talisman ticking down to 1. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks us for 9. No blocks. Take 9. They play Landscaper Kolos, so they can shuffle a card back into our deck. They shuffle old Foundry Helix back into our deck. I almost said Lightning Helix. We untap. Draw Break Ties, which doesn't do anything. I can get rid of the Chrysalis with it. And that stops them from activating it, but like, I'm gonna have to chump the Orchard Strider and shoot the Thraben Watcher. Alright, pass the turn. I'm not sure what sequence of top decks we could have that could get us out of this, but I don't think there's many, if any. Okay, Soul Talisman comes off Suspend. Opponent goes to combat and is smart enough to not attack with the Thraben Watcher. So we have to chump to stay alive. Nothing to modular onto again. We go to 4. They play a Sanctuary Raptor. We untap, draw Flame Rift, and we scoop. It's kind of a disappointing league, I'm not going to lie. I definitely think the Goblin Bombardment did not have a chance to shine as much as I'd like it to, but hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The last few times have been earlier than that. And yeah, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you for watching. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of June. If you want to have your name show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon down in the description below. Thank you all.